welcome back to today's lesson. Welcome. I'm sure we are all up to date. We have followed the previous two videos when we started the lessons. So today we are moving on to forms. How do we create forms in HTML? So as I said, these lessons this week and next week, we are all going to be focusing on front end and specifically on HTML. We discussed what is an HTML, so I will not talk about that. So let's now just see how we create forms in HTML. So you are going to open your Visual Studio as the code editor which we are using for these lessons. For those who are using laptops, but to those who are using phones, I always emphasize that you download any HTML editor from your Play Store. So let's open our Visual Studio. Then this is where we ended yesterday when we were inserting an image on our website. Let's see how it was looking. Let me go and open the file. So this is how it was looking. This is what we did yesterday. So today we want to insert a form on the page on your website. Maybe you want to insert a form, a login form, a registration form, any kind of a form. So I'll take you through on how we create forms. So those kind of forms which we see in different websites, in Facebook, where they prompt you to register or to log in. Where you log in, that's what we want to see. How do they create those forms? So they use nothing apart from HTML to create those forms. So let's go back to our text editor. So I will remove this so that it remains plain, and then we do something on it. So here it will remain like this. It will remain naked, nothing on it. So we go back. So as I said, everything in HTML, it has its definition. Everything, it has what it is start with. For headings, we said it starts with a H1, H2 up to H6. For image, we said it use an img as a tag. Then for paragraphs, we said it use p. So let me start with the heading, which I'm going to use the size of H3. Sorry, I cross, then in between I will write. I explained how we write headings. I explained it in our first lesson. So I will just say this is a login form. Then after this, as I explained to you, everything you want to write, you write between these two tags, the open body and the closing body. Now for forms, it has also what it starts with. So it has its own definition, which is a tag. So you are going to open it. Others they say element. Don't forget, we differ by how we call it. So others they say element. It's okay, but for me, I'll be using tag, so that we are going to be working at one pace. As I said, this is not a theory lessons; it is a practical lessons. So never mind about other things, but mind about how it is working. So let's open it. So the tag for creating a form, it starts with its word form. So you say form, then you cross. So this form thing, it has an opening and a closing. So it's an open tag and a closing tag. So between these two, that's where you're going to write your form. That's where you're going to write everything. So let's say now you are going first to say a form has to have its label. Even you have your label, that label which is your name. People know you by your label. Yes. So we are going to say label. So the label is used to define what is supposed to be entered. So a label here, you are going to say a label for. Inside it, you're going to say for. Then you say, what is the label for? It is for first name, meaning the user has to enter a first name. Then you do like this. So in between here, you are going to say first name. So what you put here is what your user will see. So inside here, it's up to you. You write anything you want, but it's you who are going to be seeing it alone, because it is not outside your label tag. But whatever you are going to write in between here is what your user will see. Then after this label, you are going now to provide where your user has to enter what? The name. So we say input. What is the type of the input which your user will enter? Is it a text? Is it a number? Is it a password? So in this case, we want a user to enter a first name in the form of what? Text. So I will say type. So the input type has to be a text, like this, a text. Then you cross. So an input, it only have its open tag, and inside it, that's where we write everything which you want to be written in it. So here I just load the type of an input which the user has to provide. Then the next thing, it's another label. So let me just copy this and paste to avoid wasting time of typing. So here I'll say this label is for a last name. So last name. Then you also tell the user so that can see what to enter on that part. So last name, yes. Then next you provide an input. Let me just copy this and paste like this. So the user will enter a last name. What type of the last name should be in? It's a text as well. So I leave it like this. Then next, I want the user also to provide his or her password. So I'll say input. Sorry, let me also provide a label so that the user can know what to enter. So I'll get the label, copy, and paste. Then I'll say this label is for what? For a password. Is for password. Then the user has to know what to enter so that he does not provide the long things. So you write password. Then the next thing, it's to provide a field where that user has to enter a password. So we provide that by using this input. Then you say input. What type? The type has to be a password. Then after that, the user has to submit that information which he or she has entered. So how do we provide a button for submitting? So you are going just to say input, then type. Type is what? A submit or a button. So in this case, they just say type submit. You can even give it a value, what you want to be seen. Then you say submit. So this is how we create a form. Let's see how it will look. Let's see. Let's check. Let us check. Okay, it has come. So this is a form. Now you can see the form is in this range. After the user has entered here, I've entered here, also here. They are in the same line. But still we can provide, you can make this form look beautiful by making it in any form you want to put it. Maybe by making it this to be below this to be below this to be below this. Now we can't see a submit button here. What could be the problem? Let's check. So what's the problem here? What could be the problem? Input type submit. So let's try to remove a value. We see what will happen. Then we save it. Let's go back to the browser and refresh. Here it is. So I wanted you to observe this. Others they include a value. Others they do include maybe a button or whatever. But here, if you include a value, it will require you other things to be done for it to be shown. Now, in this case, we don't want to do a lot of work. We don't want to put other things, but you're just working with HTML. So in HTML, for it to work, don't include a value if you are using a type called submit, because some browsers will not display it. So for you to suit different browsers, just write input type submit. Now, let's see if we are able to write anything and also submit them. So let me write the first name, BBBJ, then the second name, tech, then my password will be rare. So can you see that this password is not visible to you? Yes, because the password is always defined to be what? A secret thing. So once I put a type to be a password, it will not be shown unless you come here. If you want just to view it, then you click here. That's when it will be reviewed. I even inserted the long password, so the password has to be there, like this. Yes. Then I can even hide it. Then I can submit. The value has gone. So once you submit, the value has to go somewhere, and that value to go somewhere, it has to be stored somewhere. On that part, we'll discuss how to use the values which you inserted in your form and how does it happen. We'll understand this in the next classes, which is master class and also in hyper class. We are going to understand all that. For now, let's just focus on how to create a form. Now let's see what will happen if I remove input field on a first name. Let's see. If I remove a input field, I remove this one on the label called the first name. Then I save it. And I go back, I refresh. It has gone. So, meaning first name doesn't have where to input. You didn't provide. So it will be like that. And the user will not be able to enter a first name. But once you go back and bring back an input element like this, you bring it back and save, then it will provide a field where your user can enter those values. Now, let's try to remove a label. What will happen for the first name? Let's remove a label. We'll remove this. We see what will happen. You save like this. Then you refresh. So this field will appear blank, and the user will not able to understand what am I supposed to enter here, because it is blank. There is no label. So that's why we use label. Now there is also another alternative how you can provide this so that the user can be able to see. And by that, we use what we call a place order. Now, where do we write a place order? So you can still do this. You come inside an input, this one. So this input, it's this one. It's this one. So you can provide something so that the user can know that I have to enter this by providing a placeholder. So how do we write a placeholder? You come here, inside it, here, you can write it's just a word called placeholder. So placeholder is equal to what? What do you want the user to see? First, so you can say, enter your first name. Then you save. Let's see what will happen in that part. Refresh. So you can see the user is able to see that they are telling me to say, enter your first name. Then I can type here. Once I start typing, that placeholder will not appear. So even here, if I don't want to put labels, I can do the same. I can do the same by providing placeholders in all input field. I can do this. Also come here. I can paste even in here. I can just paste. Then here you just say enter your last name. Here I can say enter your password. Then I can even remove these labels. Can remove these labels like this. Then I save. Like this. Then I save. So you can see, the user can see that, okay, here I have to enter my first name, here I have to enter my last name, here I have to enter my password and submit. Now, these things disappear once you start entering. So if you enter your first name, it goes. Even here the same, it will go. Even here the same, it will go like that. So we have two options. If you don't want to use labels, you can use placeholders. There's no problem as long as the user are able to see what they have to enter in those fields which you provided. So this is how we write forms. Now about making our forms beautiful and look in different ways, we still have a lot to do on this, but I don't want you to be imparted with a lot of information at the same time. So I leave it for next time. Have a good day and see you in the next lessons of our program. Thank you and enjoy your day.